the thing is, now we're in 2021, and representation doesn't matter. So I don't want to downplay this anymore. But is this really that big a deal anymore?
We live?
We live.
Live. Welcome back to the Opinion Factory podcast, a podcast with free thinkers and challenge seekers.
Yes, sir.
I'm Khelil.
I'm Alex.
And as some of you may have heard, Carl Nassib has just posted an Instagram video coming out as gay, right? Before Carl Nassib was Michael Sam in 2014, who was a draft pick who came out as gay. And we know how things ended for him, right? He had a great season before the draft, and he got picked in the very last round, and he only played during the preseason. He never even played a regular season game, all right? My question is, do you think things will be different for Carl this time around?
Oh, of course. Just
active, openly gay NFL player.
I just want to add some context to the Michael Sam thing, just to add some context. He was a projected late rounder, right? I think he was projected going like the 5th or 6th round. He got drafted in last. He got drafted in last.
Get picked in the 3rd.
It varies. When I record, I mean, those things always depend, but I saw like 5th and 6th round a lot, right?
And for those who don't know, how many rounds are there usually? Is there like a set number?
7 rounds.
7 rounds, all right.
Yeah, 7 rounds. If you get drafted after about the 6th round, you're really like kind of close if you're gonna make the team or not. You know, usually how it works is picks rounds 1 through 4. You're virtually guaranteed a spot, right? If you got chosen the first 4 rounds, they expect you to be a part of the team in some capacity. When you get to 5 through 7, those are the guys that are gonna fight to take over somebody on the fringe spot on the roster.
Okay.
So he was gonna be one of those guys. Him coming out as gay didn't help his case, you know. But keep in mind, this is 2014. It's not
2014. This was a year after the Supreme Court ruled that gay people could even legally be married, right?
Yeah. So still not as accepted as it was. Even though it's only 7 years ago. But we go back to now. Nassib's a better football player, so I think it's him. The chance of him getting cut is very low. Not to mention
already active.
Yeah, not to mention he came out after he got drafted. You know, if Michael Sam came out after he was drafted, I think it might have been a little different. But the thing is, now we're in 2021, and representation doesn't matter. So I don't want to downplay this anymore. But is this really that big a deal anymore? Like,
I think it is. If you look at how gay professional athletes have been treated in this country in the past, right? Especially in football. And we don't know
that many though. I don't know who.
We don't know that many, but for the few that we do know of, we know what happened to them. And
I honestly don't, because I can't name any. I can't name any football player that said he was gay before. I think this is the only dude that has done active. That.
Yeah, he's the first one to say like when he is actually active. The handful that did it before was Michael Sam, who obviously did it before he was even drafted. Yeah. And I know the very first instance was, who was it? It was Dave Kopay in 1975, right? He came out 3 years after he retired. And then he tried to coach, and then he couldn't coach because no team would accept him, right? And so because there's been so few, and because the results of their coming out has had arguably an impact on their career, I think it's worth noting what is going to happen to Nassib at this point in time. There's no precedent, right?
There's no precedent, but going back all the way to 1975, though, you know, I feel like that's so far back in a time where it was not accepted at all.
Definitely a different time. Yeah.
You know, so I feel like this dude, I'm almost in the opposite mindset where it's like, yo, if you cut this dude, it will be such a bad look on your organization that he kind of, I'm not going to say he virtually made himself uncuttable, but it's like he's in a spot right now where if he gets cut, it would just be such a bad look for your organization because he's good enough to play. So now it's like you have a dude that's clearly good enough to play, right? And then you cut him after he said he's gay. Like that's gonna be like, this is why you cut him.
Has that happened to someone else in the NFL before?
Oh man, you know it has.
But then he came out with something seemingly controversial, and then he just
race relations, and this is very different, man. It's very
No, but
different.
I'm just saying, is there a
I know you
precedent
guys.
in the NFL for doing something that we think would make them look bad, but then they just do it anyways, and then just keep
But
going?
the reason I'm gonna go is because on what Kaepernick was talking about was so different, right? And it's still
For
divisive.
sure. For
It's still
sure.
divisive. The gay issue is not divisive anymore.
Sexuality and race are two very hot topics in this country.
Yeah, but
I think
I don't think sexuality is a hot topic anymore. I think more
you don't
so
think
the
so?
hot topic has transitioned to transgender, not gay or lesbian or bisexual. I feel like that's not nearly as much of an issue. Like someone says they're
I can get
gay or
behind
whatever,
that.
like
I'm not
think
gonna say
about
it's as hot of a topic.
think about how all these companies are doing Pride Month now, right? Like every single company you go
Yeah.
to, June's Pride Month, like that wasn't happening 10, 15 years ago.
Right. This is the first year
Right.
I've noticed Facebook doing something for Pride Month. Maybe they've done something before, but
I feel like they've been doing it the
first time I've
last
noticed.
few, like most of the major companies have been doing it the last few years.
They're really going
Right.
they're really doing it up this year, because I noticed.
Right. This week, the UEFA soccer championships going on right now, and one of the players from Germany, the German captain, one of the best goalies in the world,
Mhm.
when you soccer, you have a captain's armband to signify what
Mhm.
the captain is, and he wore like a rainbow colored one. And like usually they don't allow political statements, but they said they're gonna let that slide.
Right.
But they also did go to not allow the stadium to use rainbow lights though. So there's like a give and
that would
take
be
by
a bit of an overkill. No,
yeah,
that's fine.
you know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like in Western society, especially in America, like I don't really see. I don't want to downplay this too much at the risk of sounding ignorant, because I know there's still adversity that gay people in this country face. But
And that's
as time has moved on, right? I don't see a world where this dude who is good enough to play. He's not a Pro Bowl. He's not an All Star, but he's good enough to play in the league. I think he's 28 now, so he's been in the league for about 4
he's
or
been
5
for
years,
5 years,
right?
Yeah.
So he's good enough. He's good enough to play. He's not gonna get caught. Like I don't see a situation where a team cuts him because he said he's gay. Or like they're not. I know the NFL fan base is very conservative, right? Like
Right.
NFL most very popular, but like most of the fans are very conservative. That's why the Kaepernick thing didn't go down well. But I don't see this one going the same way. I think there's gonna be too much backlash if this happens.
Right. So you think things are going to be different for Nassib? How do you say his name? Nassib?
I think it's Nassib, but I'm not too sure honestly.
You think things are
I
going to
watch the video back.
But so you mentioned this thing about the German soccer player and Facebook and all of this celebration for Pride Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this outpouring of support, all of the symbolism, is indicative of the times that we live in, that says these symbols are still necessary? Like there's still this huge effort to normalize it, which means it's not normal yet, which means it still could potentially be an issue.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I'm coming from.
I'm not gonna say it's 100% like everywhere you go to is just like accepted, right? I'm not gonna go that far.
Especially in professional sports.
I'm not gonna go that far, but my thinking, my mindset is this really, and maybe because it's football, I'll say it is. Maybe if it was another sport that's a little more progressive or something like that. But maybe because it's football, it's a bigger deal. But my thinking is that this country, like gay marriage has been legalized for what, 8, 10. This happened under the Obama administration. So at least has to be close to 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. So almost 10 years that gay marriage has been legalized. Like you don't see any ballot pushes on freaking
overturning that decision.
Yeah, you don't see none of that going on. Right.
Sure.
And then on top of that, anytime there's a case where someone openly discriminated against a gay person, like it becomes national news. Like the freaking baker that said, "I'm not gonna do your wedding cake because you're a same-sex couple." Like that doesn't fly, right? Like those type of things don't fly. And I'm not saying that gay people don't face discrimination, but I think it has become normalized. Like you see it in TV shows much more. You see it in movies much more. right?
Right.
You see it in like the workplace much more. Like people don't
Emo
have to,
Tuesday,
and
Redbox
yeah,
has a gay couple on their picture.
and
So it's great.
we live in Boston, so I guess like obviously more liberal, so people don't care as much about, or not they don't care about, they're much more accepting of that,
Mhm.
right? When it comes to like my job today had a discussion about LGBTQ and all these type of things. Like you have those things going on, so it's just not that doesn't matter. But I just feel like this is not going to be one of those things that's just going to be a big deal. Like when Michael
But
Sam did it, it was used. Like
right,
here, it's like
but this
it's
but you
big
talking
because
about
he's the
Boston
first.
though.
Yeah, so it's big. Yeah, that's true. So my thinking
Let's
might
go
be
to
a little sway.
Texas for a second.
Uh huh.
I don't know if this is gonna be handled the same way in Texas or Mississippi. You know what I mean?
True, but I don't like. What are those people gonna do? Are they not gonna watch? I don't think they're not gonna watch because this dude's gay. I don't think they're gonna be like, oh, this dude's a this, he's a that. Like I don't think they're gonna do that though.
I've been looking out. I've been looking out for posts like that. You know, I've been trying to find some things similar to what happened with Kaepernick. How people like, you know, you don't love this country or you're this, you're that, get him out of here, screw Nike, all that stuff. And I
Yeah,
don't see any
nobody's doing that.
opposition to Nassib right now. And I even saw the NFL himself, Goodell. He came out in support for his very courageous act. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's not like he's not doing a political thing, you know. Like
It's not. It's just
no matter
different
what
identity.
you no matter what you do with Kaepernick, it was it was a political thing too. You
Right.
can't deny that fact. It was
And
political, it was a
that's one of the
social
huge
stance.
differences between those two situations, right?
That's what I'm
One
that,
has to do with making a statement. One has to do with just trying to be who you are and just represent your people.
yeah, and
Right.
then he was just saying representation matters. So
Right.
I'm a big proponent of representation matters and all this type of stuff. And but like when I watch sports, when I think about sports, I like that's never something that ever sticks out to me, man. It's like, oh, this dude gay or who's his wife or like, you know,
Yeah, that's us though.
I don't really care. Like,
We might not
you
be
know,
normal. We might not be normal.
no, nobody's thinking about this, man. I feel like the furthest conversation goes about sexuality during sports is like, is this dude's wife hot or not? That's like the furthest it goes. You know,
Yeah,
like
because no one's ever
people
been
don't,
gay openly
bro,
in sports before like this.
when you're watching the
There's never been an
sport,
opportunity for that.
when you're watching the sport, dudes don't care. Now, the one thing I will say that
It hasn't been
might
opportunity to care until now.
I feel like the players like a while ago. I don't have the exact year, but I'm guessing around 2008, 2009, maybe a little after. But I'm guessing around 2009. John Collins came out as gay. He's played NBA, played for NBA for a number of years, at least 6 or 7 years. But he came out as gay afterwards, at the end of his career, right? And some people said they knew, some people said they didn't. The thing that I think would be different, not for the fans, but would just be for the players, is like how people interact in the locker room, how they interact with each other. Do they become uncomfortable with knowing this, knowing that? Because that was a huge thing when Michael Sand came out. I remember Chris Long from Howie Long's son, who's a Hall of Famer defensive end. His son was pretty good too. I don't think Hall of Fame, but he was good. He won a couple of Super Bowls. This dude, Chris Long, was like, he was in the locker room at the time. He's in the Rams when he got drafted. He's like, yo, nobody's going around worried about the locker room to see if Michael Sam is checking them out. You know, I feel like the media was making that a thing, but like, I don't know how those dudes in those environments would act if they would become. I think that's the only real thing right there is like, are these dudes comfortable, you know, walking around the locker room, all this type of stuff, and
Right.
like I don't
seems
think
like they would be.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue. Like I don't think that's an issue either.
So there's gonna be we don't think that there's gonna be any public backlash to this video coming out.
No,
Well, we still recognize the fact that this video was necessary for representation and visibility. And
I do think there might be instances where this dude is called names during games though.
Oh, for sure.
Not necessarily by fans, but like by other players. I do think that is a very
I think
real
mostly by
possibility.
fans.
I think there's a real possibility where dudes will now try to use it as an advantage to like just be really outwardly discussing to like, you know, like kind of like the racist thing and all that type of stuff we talked about a few.
I don't think there's going to be much like social media opposition, much media like news and stuff opposition. I think is mostly going to happen in close quarters. Like we're not going to know until Nassib himself tells us, you know, like I went to the locker room and dudes weren't even like high-fiving and like hugging and jumping around no more with me. And then I play games and all of a sudden, like, you know, I get things thrown at me, and I get names called at me.
But that's not going to happen in his locker room, though. Like I that will not happen in his locker room, though.
It will be a bad look for the team for sure, and then the team will be under fire. And so I don't think the locker room is the biggest thing, but I think what you're saying.
I think the other players, when he's playing against another team, and like,
but that'll be a bad look for that team too, though.
It would be, but they're probably under the assumption that I wouldn't get out. Because when you play in a football game, man, you're so far away from the game itself. And unless a player is mic'd up, there's no way you can hear what's being said on the field. There's so much noise going on. There's so much noise on the field itself from the people screaming.
I don't think we need that, though. All we need is an accusation.
No, you do need an accusation, but I'm saying, like, that's why I think those players will try being bold and try to get away with it, Just like they do in other sports, too. Like, maybe not to the same degree, but in soccer, that's a big thing, too, where, dudes say racist things to each other, or dudes will, call each other this type of name or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think might be a concern, but, it's like, I'm just under the presumption that it's 2021. This is a good thing for representation, I don't know if it's like top story news. Like, it's news. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's like, it's almost like, I feel like, and this is a good thing, right? But it's almost to the point where, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's not who cares in like a negative way, but it's like literally who cares?
Right.
Like, it's not a big deal. And I feel like that's what it's kind of coming down to, like this.
And that's what he's going for. That's the effect that he wanted to have.
If that's what he wants, then that's good. Because it's like, oh, this dude's like, I'm not gonna think twice about that. Like, I don't care.
I'm pretty sure.
And it's good. There's definitely people that will. Like, there's definitely gay football players that will care. So I'm not saying.
What's his position? Does he
defensive end? So
he's not catching anything.
No, he is trying.
I was gonna say he can never drop the ball again because we know what people will say.
I mean, I don't know what his job interception
is.
Rarely, but he's his job is he's on the line, so he's trying to sack the quarterback and make a tackle.
I expect to see memes referring to his sexuality, of course, very distasteful memes, of course.
I feel like you're not gonna see. I feel like you're not gonna see a lot of those, man.
No, I feel like maybe not a lot, but I'm gonna see some. If dudes could make memes about Kobe, they're gonna make memes about this. So.
Yeah, but look how those Kobe memes got received. Dudes were shitting on him the whole time.
Still saw him, still made.
He's a
straight.
Yeah, he's a good fall. He played 73 games, man. So he's in 5 seasons. I'm trying to do the math in my head. 5 times 18. 5 times 16 is what, 80? So he's played. It's either 80 or 90. I think it's 90. So out of 90 possible games, he's played 73. So that's a
pretty good.
That's a good percentage right there, man.
Yeah.
So
let's see if that pattern holds up.
Yeah, he's not. I'm not gonna act like he's the best player in the world, right? But he's solid.
It might be too soon to say, this is completely okay. Since Goodell came out in support, then everything is fine. We might just have to wait and see, a couple, maybe even a season. But we'll see. We know the NFL's history with gays. We know just professional sports history with gays when it comes to how they're treated, and even just how many of them actually come out. You know what I mean? And so I think this is still worth keeping an eye on.
No, it is, but I think
but
I think it's a good thing that we're in this position where it's like people kind of don't care. And I feel like I feel like there's a very different conversation happening in the South. there might be, but the fact that there's people like me, like you, and there's people around us, like nobody cares. Like I haven't had anybody's like not one person I know has been like, damn, you heard about this gay NFL player? And that, like, I feel like that's honestly a very good thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a good thing. Because
his team, once his team loses again, let's see what people say. You know what I mean? Once he makes a bad call one time, let's see what people say.
Yeah.
Look at your friends, look at your social medias, look at the media itself.
I don't think it's gonna be one of those things. Which
I'm leaning. I want to agree with you. I'm leaning in that direction as well, but we'll have to see because the president isn't great.
It's not, but so long ago, and even the Michael Sam 7 years ago was a long time, bro. Dudes wasn't doing
We don't have a basis except for those things, and that's not good either.
Has the NFL done Pride Month this month?
I don't pay attention to the NFL at all.
I wonder if they. I bet you they have, because I know like a lot of the soccer leagues have done like the flags with their teams and all that type of stuff.
Okay.
So I wonder if the NFL has done Pride now. I'm gonna have to look that up real quick, man.
Let me see.
But I bet you they have. So I think this is even better thing for them to do because now they have a player and if they support him, like the commission already came out and supported him. I think it's a good thing, man.
All right. So I just saw this article from June 2nd, 2021. The headline is from Outsports.com. It says, as NFL embraces LGBTQ pride, some fans threaten boycotts.
Yeah.
So
but some fans, I bet you those fans still gonna watch. I really bet you they will.
And I'm pretty sure they're in the minority as well, but that's what sells. People are gonna click that article because, oh my God, people are against the Pride Month thing. Let's see what's going on. But it's probably not that big.
Like they changed their logo. This is an official statement from the NFL on the 1st of June, the first day of Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. The NFL is proud to unveil our new NFL Pride Shield to show our support and solidarity to the LGBTQ plus community. We stand with LGBTQ plus people this month and year long with a commitment to our players, our fans, and our staff to live proudly and authentically. And then you can see the rainbow colored NFL shield, and they've done that with every single logo of every team that surrounds the NFL logo. You have some comments that were like unfollowing this. Actually, no, I'm not. This is actually mad funny. Lil Nas X is unfollowing. Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
I'm following this and said that y'all support this lifestyle. Obviously, tongue in cheek right there. There was a comment that says, and yet no one came out as a gay football player. Why is that? So now we have the first one. So like you looking if you look through these comments, man, and Twitter, Twitter's usually a freaking war zone.
Twitter's a cesspool.
Yeah, cesspool is the perfect word. Not a lot of negative comments that were going on here, So I think that's a good thing. I think we're in a position where people
maybe. And I might be biased, but I don't believe a word anything the NFL says. They're full of shit to me.
Valid, very valid.
They can make that whole statement, and I'm like, all right, but how do you really feel? I'm still waiting to see how you really feel.
100% valid, and we'll see what happens with Carl.
It's great that they made this statement. Like you said, we'll see what happens.
But I'm happy in the sense that people aren't up in arms about this. I'm really happy about that, man. I'm happy about this dude. Like he can do whatever he wants. I feel like most people don't care. NFL got a bunch of mess going on with off the field issues with their players. Anyways, this week, a player got caught with a submachine gun in California. Another player got shot 4 times. A rookie. He's gonna be fully expected to recover, but and then at least 3 or 4 domestic incidents going on every single year, bro. So NFL, like, out of all things going on in the NFL, right? That happens every offseason. You literally have a dude that had a subatomic machine gun in his car. And I forget his name, so you have to forgive me. But while I was reading the details about this, got caught. He got pulled over for a traffic violation, and the gun was clearly out when they pulled him over. Like, just hanging out. I was like, I don't know what that's about. You know?
Only thing missing is that he was under the influence. I mean, was he?
Didn't say. Did not say. You got this other dude, like, in the list of NFL priorities and player conduct and behavioral issues, this isn't even on the scale, man.
Yeah,
you got these dudes being their wives like they're cops or something. So man, they gotta clean that up a little bit too, man. So, anyways, man, I'll kind of a feel good story.
Yeah. Opinion Factory Podcast. Let us know what you think about the episode. Let us know what you think about the situation. Are you of the mind that this is handled exactly as it should be? It's not a big deal. There's some articles about it, but there's no real backlash. There's no like bigger conversation really happening, much like this one. There's no like big debate about like should this be allowed. Like Do you think this is being handled the right way by the media, by the general public?
It will be interesting to see how viewership goes for his games, though. That'll be one thing that'll be worth monitoring.
Yeah.
Seeing if less people watch the games that he plays in. So we'll see what happens. Pay Factory Podcast, find us on Apple Podcasts or whatever you listen to podcasts. Like the video, give it a thumbs up.
And happy Pride Month to my LGBTQ brothers and sisters.
And we will see y'all
next week.